who's looking to buy a home? Are you looking to renovate a home? Well, there's so many different options of mortgages, mortgage loans that you may not know about. So to help us sort through all of those is Jeff Onofrio, who is the Director of Construction and Renovation Lending for Annie Mac Home Mortgage. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
Thank you, Lorraine, for having me.
From your point of view, what do you think are some of the mortgage instruments that people know the least about?
Sure. I mean, there's all kinds of loans that are out there. Obviously, you have your traditional loans, which most people, go to your bank and get. One of the couple of different ones that we offer are the Fannie Mae Home Style Renovation Loan, the FHA 203K, our construction to perm one-time close products, and also a really little known product called the Good Neighbor Next Door product, which falls underneath of HUD. And it allows, do you want me to go into detail?
Well, let's talk about that one. I like that. First of all, it's got a good name, Good Neighbor Next Door. What is it exactly?
Sure. As I said, it's a very little-known product that falls within HUD's guidelines, and basically it allows for firefighters, police officers, EMTs, teachers to buy a home where they work and to get a discount of up to 50% off for the property. As I said, it was very limited. Before I came today, I looked today, and there are actually only 15 properties in Philadelphia that actually qualify for it. But it was neat. There are a lot of property. Of those 15, it ranged from as little as $35,000 to almost a house that was almost $200,000, and you can get that for 50% off.
What? You can get a house for 50% off?
As long as you're going to live in it for up to 36 months.
That is pretty amazing. So, in addition to being in that qualifying group of people, is there anything else that they need to know about in order to apply for that?
Well, there's a few other things such as credit and income and things along those lines and assets. So what we do is we tell the customers to reach out to us, and we'll be happy to go through those specific details for their specific situation.
If you've got a property that needs extensive renovation, or you have a property that you already own that you would just like to improve on, tell us about some of the options there.
Sure. There's two main products, as we've mentioned, the Fannie Mae Home Style product and also the FHA 203K. Both products allow you to buy or renovate and roll in the cost of renovation. Depending upon the scope of the renovation, we're going to get a HUD consultant to come out and actually create a scope of repair with you and your contractor to determine what it is you want to do. That document's going to go into our appraisal to determine our after improved value and allows us to build all of that information into your loan. We build that and do that up front, so that everything is basically set at the beginning, and then obviously there are going to be changes and things that come up, but most of the time we're going to try to stick exactly to that scope of repair. And that scope can really be just about anything. I've done projects where we've added on entire second and third stories. We've literally taken a house down to the foundation and started fresh. There's a lot of different things that we can do. There's not really any limitations, except for on the FHA side. You're limited. You can't do luxury type items. Such as swimming pools.
Gold-plated, like bathtubs and stuff?
No, you'd be surprised. Some of that stuff you can actually get away with.
Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly. You could do Viking ranges and Thermador, big, high-end luxury type things in that significance, but not when it comes to like swimming pools or things that aren't attached to the property specifically.
Gotcha.
But with the Fannie Mae Home Style product, you can do that. If you want to put a pool in with, the real nice paver patio around it and all that, you can actually do that using the Fannie Mae product.
So in terms of the interest rate, is there any distinctions or differences between a regular mortgage or something that would involve new construction or renovation?
Absolutely. They are a little bit more expensive. There's definitely a cost associated with that because, truthfully, there's a risk associated with it. There's a lot more that goes into it when you're adding on for some people, adding on a $100,000, $200,000 project to their loan. The risk to the bank is more. So rates can, typically tick up of anywhere from 1/4 to 3/4%, depending upon the day. So it is a little bit more expensive, but most of our clients, what they're doing is they're creating instant equity in their homes, and that instant equity allows us to come back, usually about 8 to 12 months later, and actually refinance them into a traditional loan and take out that loan and give them the lowest possible rate that's out there.
Tell us some of the things that people need to consider when they're applying for these kinds of loans, particularly we're talking about these home renovation loans. It seems to me that the housing market is starting to improve somewhat, and that people are starting to think a little more expansively in terms of the future. I think with the recession that we were living in, people were like kind of hunkering down, and they weren't really willing or ready to spend money on things like renovation. So what are some things that people need to consider to prepare themselves before they actually apply for these loans?
The important thing to keep in mind is understanding what you qualify for. And so it's really, you almost kind of want to start applying first, because what happens is people get, really big ideas of what they can do because they're watching shows like The Property Brothers and things like that on HGTV. And we really want to kind of bring them into the, reality of what they qualify for early on. So really it's a matter of looking at what their credit score looks like, really understanding what their debt to income is going to allow them to qualify for. But that's one of the great parts of these type loans, is that it allows a borrower to buy something that may not be in their price range, because if they were to buy the high-end finished home in that area that they're looking, is out of their price range. However, they may be able to get something at a 30, 40%, 50% discount because they're buying something that needs work. That really allows people to qualify for a little bit more and get them into the school district or development that they want to be in, more so than just going for that home that's completely finished and ready to go.
Oh, well, that's a very good point to make. And I think that what you're saying, too, is that once people have done the renovation, they can refinance it, and then their rate can go down because they'll have more of a conventional loan.
Absolutely. We've seen many, many clients that have gone in and have created anywhere from 10, and I've actually can give examples of customers who've made $100,000 in instant equity in under 18 months, because they're buying a house that's in just not in a good shape. They do all these repairs to them. We come back, we refi them, and their new appraised value is so much higher. So yeah, they really do get the benefit of buying a property like that. Plus, they also get the opportunity to potentially move up. So you're creating that first-time home buyer who's now created instant equity and turned around and been able to use that to move on to their next home once they start building their family and kind of creating that move-up buyer.
You suggest that people apply first, and then the next part would be to get someone like a contractor or an architect to kind of come up with a plan, right? So what are some things that people do once they've gotten a loan? What are the things that you suggest that they do in order to make sure that they maximize the value of the money that they're getting to renovate?
Sure. Well, I mean, first and foremost, you really want to make sure you've gotten a good lender who is experienced in these type of loans. Secondly, you want to get a good realtor who also understands the products and understands what you're trying to accomplish. Next, obviously, is finding that contractor that's willing to work within the realm of the program, because that's not for every contractor. But the HUD consultant plays a big part in that, because he understands the work that's being done. He understands the cost estimating that goes into it. So getting that cohesive team that really understands what needs to be done in order to make this thing work is really the most important part. So if you can assemble that team and know that this is what you want to do when you go out to actually go looking for a home, it makes it a much smoother process, and it'll help everybody to find the renovations that are going to have the biggest bang for the buck and the best return on investment.
Right. So I guess having the HUD advisor there probably makes a huge difference.
Definitely. Having an experienced consultant, one that's been doing this for years, can make or break a deal. So we have a list of guys that we've worked with and the guys who have done a lot of these projects. Some of the guys I've worked with have done up to 4,000 of these. So, you really want somebody that has a really good background understanding how these products work.
Anything else you want to add to that? Any other little nuggets of advice?
No, I mean, right now the market's hot. Everybody is kind of sitting back and not sure if it is, but Realtor.com's calling 2015 the hottest summer since 2006.
Yeah.
So yeah, the market's great, and it's a good time to buy, and now's the time to take a look at it. And knowing that you have options such as some of these programs can really take shape as to what you can do with your home buying.
Well, I appreciate that you let us know about the good neighbor next door, because certainly our law enforcement officers, firefighters, EMTs, and teachers deserve all the breaks they can get, and this could potentially help that group of people, and we hope that some of you out there who qualify will check into that. And for the others, that it seems like there's a chance that you may not be able to afford the house of your dreams right away, but you might be able to get something that's the house of your future dreams by renovating it and getting one of these renovation loans. There seems to be lots of different options there. If people would like to know more about what you do and your company, how do they find out more?
They can always give us a call. They can call me direct at 856-505-6717, or they can visit us on the web at AnnieMacRenovationLending.com.
Jeff Onofrio, Director of Construction and Renovation Lending for Annie Mac Home Mortgage. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Lorraine.
I'm Lorraine Ballard.